General joins me now. All right, why are people up in arms over states having more control over federal elections? Explain it to us.
Yeah, happy Independence Day. Well, the Elections Clause of the U.S. Constitution says that time, place, and manner for elections shall be controlled by the legislatures of each state, and therefore, ultimately, the people through their representatives. This is going to look at that case and determine whether or not state Supreme Courts, governors in each state, or even local election officials can change these rules that are passed by legislatures like we saw in 2020. And so obviously that's a problem for a lot of folks. But I can tell you this, this Supreme Court, because of its majority, 5 or 6 conservative judges, has been issuing clear majority opinions that I think has made the black letter law much cleaner and much easier to understand. So this case is going to be in a long line of those, and I am excited about the arguments next term.
I want you to listen to GOP Senator Mike Lee. He weighed in on election laws. Let's listen.
Are freaking out about it. Chuck Schumer is complaining about it. They're talking as though the sky is falling. What is so offensive to them about the idea of having laws enacted by lawmakers who are elected by the people? It's as though they hate the democratic process itself.
Okay, he's talking about the EPA decision there. So yet again, there's just like much ado about nothing, or do they have a point? Is there an argument to be made here? Which is it? Is it overreaction?
Yeah, well, so Senator Lee is absolutely right. It seems to me that the left keeps overreacting to power being returned to the states and to the people through the representatives, or the power returned to Congress in the case of the EPA case. In each situation, you are taking it out of courts, out of black-robed, non-elected people, and giving it to the people's representatives that in our constitutional republic are who should control many of these issues. And so I think it is much ado about nothing. The left, clearly doesn't trust the people, and I think that's a huge mistake on their part.
But, I mean, aren't the people the ones that are supposed to be making the decisions? And why have a problem with that? I mean, if you give the power to the people, isn't that the whole point of voting? So what are they saying? That they no longer want to vote on issues that affect them personally? Because if you turn to the table and you ask them if they wanted to weigh in on any other thing, of course they would want to. But because it's an issue that they disagree with, they say no. So it's like talking out of both sides of their mouth.
It is, Julie. And, our constitutional republic is at times messy, and I really think that they do not want to take their radical agenda to the American people and try to win elections and then try to pass it, because they know that their fringe, big city, elite viewpoints are not the majority of most people. Places like where I'm from in the state of Iowa, where common sense, pragmatic approaches, that keep the people in charge of their lives is oftentimes what is preferred.
Okay, so then what do Republicans do then, to be able to combat this? Because this is only just one of the Supreme Court decisions, obviously, that has liberals, Democrats up in arms. So it never seems like they're ever going to see eye to eye on this. But what is the solution? How do we find some sort of middle road here, or is there ever going to be one?
Yeah, well, I mean, obviously the Founding Fathers, in their brilliance, and we're celebrating the Declaration of Independence today, understood that there was going to be this constant give and take, and that's why they have the House of Representatives turnover every 2 years, the Senate turnover every 6. And at the same time, the American people are the sovereign, and they are the ones that get to choose their representatives. I mean, I will point to the case regarding the Remain in Mexico policy, where justices said that this was a thing that should be controlled by the Congress, and the executive branch and executive fiat couldn't govern this. And that's the consistency that I see coming out of this court.
All right. Matt Whitaker, thank you very much. Happy 4th to you, and thanks for coming on.